All right, arc length and area of a sector. So what we're talking about, an arc length is the distance as if I was walking along this side of the, this part of the circle. So that's my arc length, and they call it S. I don't know why, but it's S. And then the sector is this piece of pie right here, or a piece of pizza that we've got here, and that's the area. And just like area equals length times width and other formulas, we have these formulas right here that give us this information. The important thing here to remember is that theta is measured in radians. So if they're given to you, if the theta is given to you in degrees, you have to switch it to radians before you go on. All right, so let's look at a couple of examples. So right here, we want to find the arc length right here, and we also want to find the area of this circle, this portion of the circle. So I've got my arc length is S times R times theta, and my area is 1/2 R squared theta. All right, so first thing I need to do is change this 150 degrees into radians, and we know how to do that. We just learned how. So 150 times pi over 180 gives me 150 pi over 180, which is 5 pi over 6. All right, so that's what I'm going to use instead. I'm going to use 5 pi over 6. So the length of this sector is my radius, which is 15 meters, times 5 pi over 6. This gives me 75 pi over 6, and then I can reduce that down to 25 pi over 2. All right, the area is 1/2 R squared, so that's 15 squared, times 5 pi over 6. Okay, so 1/2, 15 squared is 225 times 5 pi over 6. And remember that when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerators, and then you multiply the denominators. So this is going to be 225 times 5, which is 1,125 pi over 12, and that boils down to 375 pi over 4. And this would be in meters. This would be in meters squared. Okay? All right. Next one. We've got 300 degrees, so this is coming almost full circle. But we got to figure out what it is in radians. So 300 degrees. I really should have you guys try this one first. So why don't you do that? Pause the video, try this one, and I'll come back to you. Okay, now we'll go. We've got 300 degrees. I'm turning this into radians, so this is pi over 300. Oops, not 360. We've got pi over 180. So that's 300 pi over 180, which gives us 5 pi over 3. So this is, we're going to use 5 pi over 3 instead. Okay, so my length is my radius times theta, which is 5 pi over 3. So my length is going to be 50 pi over 3. And then my area is 1/2 R squared, so my radius squared, times theta, which is 5 pi over 3. So this is now 1/2 times 100 times 5 pi over 3. So now I have 500 pi over 6, which reduces to 250 pi over 3. All right, now for a story problem, this is fairly simple. So we're talking about a softball field, and we want to measure, or we want to know the length of a fence that would go around the outside of the outer field right here. And then we also want to know what the area is of this whole field. Okay, so we have 90 degrees, and we need to put that into radians. I don't know if you remember, but if we have our circle here, and the whole thing's 360, that means that this is 180, which means 90's up here. And if this is 2 pi, then this is half of that, which is pi, and 90 is half of that, which is pi over 2. So 90 is pi over 2. All right, so the area, or the length of my sector, not my sector, my arc length, is going to be the radius times theta, which in this case is pi over 2 because I had to put it in radians. So this gives me 100 pi. And since this is a story problem, I'm not going to leave it in pi. So this is 31.416 feet. Now my area, I use the other formula, 1/2 times my radius squared times pi over 2. This is going to be 1/2 times 40,000 times pi over 2, which turns out to be 40,000 pi over 4, which is 10,000 pi, which is 31,415.9 feet squared. And that is the dimension of this softball field. Okay, so that's what I've got for you. You've got an assignment on big ideas right here, but there's also a worksheet. So if you're not here, you haven't been here, make sure that when you come in you pick up a worksheet. And let me know if you have any questions.